This week, we're talking about being embarrassed and how getting over yourself is key to being an influencer and having idea influence. So, do you want to be somebody who doesn't look foolish ever, or do you want to be seen as influential? Pick a side. Sara Blakely says that the key to having influence is getting over looking foolish or being embarrassed. I think she's right because once you get over looking foolish, and embarrassment, it loses its power over you. I came out of tech. Now I was doing comedy at night. Yes, I'm a comedian, as you all know. Back in tech, it's so analytical, it's so process oriented, it's so rigid that folks that are brilliant and have brilliant ideas often don't express those ideas for fear of being judged, for fear of being judged by their coworkers, their boss, looking foolish. What that does, though, is that it keeps us from being idea champions. You can be the most innovative person in the world, but if you don't know how to advocate or story tell and get the story out there and tell a narrative about why your idea matters, you won't have influence. And influence isn't about your ego. Influence is about being heard for the ideas that you put forth in the world. And I know so many people in STEM are brilliant. I get it. Law, finance, all these very analytical fields. You have to be able to separate yourself from the idea. And that's what's in this week's newsletter. So I hear you and I got you. So here's why it really matters. Many of us are sitting on these really beautiful ideas, but we are afraid to fail, to look foolish. I was too. No, I get it. I really was. I get it because that was me for so long, early on in tech. But right out of college, one of the things that I did, and I'm glad I did it, was I went into comedy. And I went into comedy, I'll be funnier. I had no idea the gifts that it would give me was it would give me the confidence to express ideas, not always be right, to let go of an idea, hold it lightly so that you could criticize and expand on the idea. And I didn't take myself so seriously. So when I say getting over yourself, I don't mean your ego, but maybe a little bit. What I'm really saying is be able to not take yourself so seriously and be able to look foolish and be silly, and that's okay. Be able to get over yourself and stop taking yourself so seriously. It's key. So I have been asked to, as both somebody who spent decades in tech and as a comedian, been able to sit on these really amazing pitch events. And on one particular pitch event, there was a young woman and she was nervous and she got up there and it's a roast. So you're supposed to be funny in your presentation, as funny as you can be. And then the audience is made up of VCs, actual investment opportunities, and comedians. And we gently roast. I'm a gentle roaster. I roast the presentation. I never roast the presenter. And she was really nervous. And she got up there and said, "You know what? I'm nervous. And yet, my idea is so important that I'm willing to put that aside and just make a fool of myself." And everybody clapped. And she had the best presentation of the night. Now, did she have the most polished presentation? No. Did she have the slickest, funniest presentation? Not by a long shot. But what worked for her is her honesty, and she leaned into it, and she expressed her fear and said, "Look, I am nervous, but I know that my idea is a good one. Please hear me out." And we did. And there were two VCs at the end of her presentation that wanted to talk to her about investing. And what she did is she actually was looking at the hygiene, sanitary kind of napkins, sort of sanitary stuff, basically period supplies for women, especially in India, where they were using caustic materials and it was actually causing women to show up with all kinds of issues. It's a big market. It's an important market. It's a real problem, and she was solving it. It had a solid business model, and she was great at making the case, telling a compelling story, showing the business model and the case and the numbers. She had it solid. Sure, it wasn't as polished, but she was incredible. So, and that's really the point. Can you get over yourself and make your idea more important than yourself? That's so important. And that's what comedy taught me. And yeah, when I started comedy, a little tiny bit brave. I wasn't super bold. A little bit brave, little bit. That's all you need to get started, one little step at a time. So I jumped into comedy, made a lot of mistakes, failed a lot, bombed, got better, kept at it, iterating. It's the willingness to try. And I was really more invested in learning and growing than I was in being right. Thank God, because that's what kept me coming back. Because you're going to suck for a while until you get better, and then you will get better. Now, today I'm confident, but that's because of 25 years. So people say to me, gosh, you're bold. You're bold. I wish I could do what you do. And I think to myself, I was a little bit brave to try comedy, but I am bold today because I did comedy. And comedy isn't about being the funniest person in the room. It is about, again, getting over yourself and being willing to look foolish and say, okay, I'm putting my idea out here, but I believe in my idea. Because when you can separate yourself and your ego from your idea, what happens is you can handle feedback, you can handle criticism. You no longer see anything said about your idea as personal. You're able to iterate, you're able to think on your feet, you're able to laugh at yourself and have way more fun. It is growth. And influence doesn't happen because of you and your idea and your whole credibility. A little bit, but influence happens because we're relatable. And influence puts a spotlight on the idea grows instead of making it about you. Make it about your idea. You know how Ted says it's about the idea? They really mean it. It's not about you. It's really about the idea. Does the idea have merit and legs, and will it stick? That's what we're talking about here. And it is possible. It is possible. Somebody like me who came out of tech environments many, many years. Yeah, yeah. Today I am confident, but that's because I just kept getting over myself. Don't take yourself so seriously. And what does it look like? Well, it looks amazing. I do have a workshop. I'm not trying to push it. You can read about it in the newsletter, but I do have a workshop that I work with a lot of tech organizations on. And it is about how to use story and improv and comedy techniques from the stage to improve your presence and your story and how you show up and communicate. Because it really is the more comfortable you are with, like, hey, I'm just me. And I'm going to tell you about this idea. The less you're trying to be something, the less you're trying so hard to show up like perfectly, because nobody's perfect, the more you put a spotlight on how great your idea is. Wouldn't that be amazing? And we all have that ability. I can tell you this from working in tech for over 20 years and doing comedy at night. There are so many brilliant people in tech, but they get in their own way. And they get in their own way because they make it about their relationship to the idea versus the idea. And if you could get out of your own way and stop worrying about how you show up and really selling the idea and advocacy for that brilliant idea, it really changes everything. Because once, I think Sara Blakely's right, once you lose the ability to care what everybody thinks of you, you become an amazing champion for that idea. It is possible. If you're interested, let me know. And again, enjoy the newsletter. What do you see? What do you see that relates to you? What speaks to you personally? What do you think you might be better at? I'd love to know. Let me know. So, idea advocacy is possible. And how are you getting over yourself? It's an act of courage and it's learnable. This skill is learnable. You don't have to be perfect. Perfect does not work. Perfect isn't funny. Perfect isn't relatable. Imperfect is human. So, how might you show up more relatable? And how might that change the way that your ideas are received? I think it's night and day. So, all you need is a little bit of courage because your idea, your boldness, all that stuff is waiting for you to show up. It's possible. It's possible. So give it a listen. Let me know. I'd love to hear from you. Until next time, everybody, take care.